Well, their offensive team is much more experienced, I think, overall in every position than their defense. They're a solid group. They've been performing for a long time together. Their defense was a rebuilding program. It's been very successful. They put in Elmendorf from Texas A&M, Robinson at linebacker, a young blood in the end position, and young Olsen they got from Boston, who was out last year. These men have done an excellent job to blend in with the Deacon Jones, the Coy Bacons, the Merlin Olsen, and all the rest of their team. And they're doing a fine job, no question about it.
Well, they've got an excellent secondary. I don't know why teams have been passing as effectively against them as they have so far this year, because they've got two fine cornerbacks, as good as there is in the game, in Herb Adderley and Mel Renfro. And I know because I used to run against them every day in practice. They've got a great secondary in their safeties with Cliff Harris and Charlie Waters and Cornell Green, and they've just got an excellent defensive secondary along with their front four and linebackers. And I'm surprised that teams have moved the ball on them as much as they have, although that still isn't as much as most defenses. But I guess when you compare it to their tremendous stretch run that they had during the last 7 games of the year, where they only allowed 3 points a game, perhaps when you compare it to that, they're not playing as well. But certainly they can play when they have to, and they proved it today by shutting out Washington, and we're going to have our work cut out for us.
It's a little rough. Usually we're still a little bit sore later on into the week, but you kind of have to ignore your aches and pains and force yourself to go through your preparations about twice as fast as you normally would, and then hope that you can be ready in time to go.
Did you come in early to get accustomed to Texas Stadium?
No, actually, we really didn't come in early. Normally, for a Sunday game, we travel on Friday. So for a Thursday game, we end up traveling on Tuesday, and it's pretty much the same kind of road trip that we would normally experience.
Just a couple of things before you board the bus. What are your thoughts on the stadium itself?
I think it's a great place to watch the game being played. I'm not so sure it's a great place to play. I'm not terribly happy with the turf. Maybe I'll feel differently after we play a game on it, but it seems awfully hard, and it seems like the footing is a little difficult. One thing about the artificial turf, I think it might shorten some careers if you fall as hard on it as it feels under your feet.
And then what does Roger Staubach, as a scrambling quarterback, do to you as a defensive man?
Well, we talk of it in terms of putting on our track shoes, because it means we're going to have to do a lot of running, and he does create some very special problems for you with his fine speed and his ability to carry that ball out of there. And I might say, too, that we were quite impressed with his throwing ability. He seems to be throwing the ball very well. But, the Cowboys are a tough team, and it's going to be should be a mighty fine football game.
Gene, I guess you're happy to be with the Rams as opposed to the Saints, are you not?
Yes, I am. I really am.
You had a great game against San Francisco. Did the passes just happen to come your way? What was the situation behind those 3 interceptions?
Well, one of them I would like to say I was in the right position, and 2 of them I like to say I was in the right place at the right time.
Do you think it'll happen tomorrow against the Cowboys?
Well, I would like for it to, but I won't count on it.
What type of a game do you think it'll be?
Well, as you know, we both have had short weeks coming into the game, but I think, as you know, L.A. and Dallas have always put forth a good game, and I think it's going to be a hard-hitting, emotional game tomorrow.
Will you switch, or will you be at one corner the entire game?
I'll be at the right corner the whole entire game.
So since Hayes and Allworth will move around, you'll be on each of them at various times, will you not?
Right, I'll cover both of them.
Will you have any help?
Well, as of now, I don't know. We haven't made up a definite game plan as to how we're going to do it, but basically I will get a chance to cover them.
Are you looking forward to playing against those fellas?
Yes, I am. I played against Hayes in the preseason, and he scored a touchdown against me, and I didn't like that too much.
I would say that I had a good season. I hadn't caught as many passes as I would like, but you know, we have been shelling our quarterback quite a bit this year, and we've been going with this quarterback and that quarterback. And as a receiver, you just can't gel as a receiver and a quarterback together. But as of today, you know, I feel real good, and I hadn't been healthy most of the season. Thank God I am now, and I feel real good. And of course, my performance overall during the year, I'm not satisfied, only because I haven't caught as many passes as I would want to.
They double and triple team you all the time, though, don't they?
Oh, definitely. I thought maybe it would have been a change since we got Allworth through the trade, but it seems as though that I've been getting more.
Well, I tell you, it's been a short week, and we're playing in under strange circumstances. But I think we'll be ready because we're on top and they're on top, so we have to, and that's all that counts as long as you're right mentally.
When you play a team as defensively minded as Dallas, what sort of a game plan do you take into it?
Well, when you're this far along in the season and every game counts on your schedule, you go into the ball game with the idea of trying not to make a lot of mistakes, especially against a sound defensive team such as Dallas, because you realize too that you have a strong defense, and if there's any way possible that you can win, regardless of whether it's 3-0 or 21-0, this is the kind of game plan that you try to go out with.
And you wouldn't be a bit surprised to go into the fourth quarter to see it an extremely close ball game then?
Well, I tell you, I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see the game end up in a tie, because a tie actually wouldn't hurt either team.
Who do you respect the most in the Dallas front four?
I've always known Bob Lilly and respected him a great deal, but they have four real fine players there. They have George Andre, who's just as good as Bob, and then Pugh and Cole. They're doing a real fine job. They're playing together.
Dave, has this your rookie year been anything like you had expected it?
Not really. At first, of course, when I was drafted, I never expected to be playing in my rookie year. The Rams had a lot of fine secondary men, Richie Pettibone and fellows like that at the position I was playing. Eddie Metter, who had retired. I didn't expect to be playing, and that's the biggest difference. You know, now I'm playing now and playing regularly, and that's been a real thrill for me.
Specifically, what will be your duties tomorrow?
Well, my duty, as it has been all year, is to support as quick as possible on the run, but spend most of my time working on protecting against the pass. And Dallas does a very fine job of doing that with the fine core receivers they have in Allworth and Hayes and Truax and the fellows like that.
Does the scrambling quarterback put you a little bit on edge, since you don't know whether the pass or perhaps the run from the apparent pass will develop?
Well, it doesn't really put me on edge, because my job is, if it's a scrambling quarterback, my job is still to cover the pass. It's hard on our linebackers, who have to decide whether they want to force on the run or get back and cover for the pass, and that's what a scrambling quarterback does. And we faced some fine scrambling quarterbacks this year. I know Landry with Detroit is a fine scrambler too, and Staubach is very similar to him.
Well, if you watch Jim Brown and all of his years of running the football, he was the premier runner in our business in the last decade, and he was a lazy runner. Whereas he looked for holes to hit, he walked very slowly the huddle, he came off the field very slow. And this is a characteristic of Thomas, and I think Thomas is maybe not running quite as good as he did last year at this time, but I still think he's doing a job for us.
Well, I think it was a tremendously satisfying win for us, particularly in view of the fact that it gave us the division lead again, and also only the third sweep of the 49ers in the last 22 years. So I think that we did something today that we should be very proud of, and I think particular tribute deserves to go to our defense, who made a lot of great plays for us. And unfortunately, you only have a day or so to savor it, and you've got to get ready for another one, particularly this week. And we're playing an excellent team. I know I've played with them before, and I have a lot of respect for them, not only as players but as men. They've treated me just great, and I'll be looking forward very much to playing them again, and I sure hope we win.